practical advice and stylish living for your home and office. And happy 2014, everyone. I am happy to be back, and it's going to be a good new year. I'd like to welcome back Krisztina Bell, my co-host. Krisztina, how are you?
Good. Happy New Year to you and to all of our listeners, too.
Yeah, we have a really exciting year lined up. Kristina's done a wonderful job at lining up guests for the next couple of months that are have celebrity status and also just really, really interesting. And today's guest is here with us. I'd like to welcome Katie Belveal, correct?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us. She is the general manager of ADAC here in Atlanta, and that's the Atlanta Decorative Arts Center, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay, great. So we're glad to have you join us. We'll kind of get to ADAC in just a moment, but Krisztina, I just wanted to check in with you, see how your break was, and if anything's new on the virtually staging side.
Break was good, very relaxing to take a break from decorating homes and staging them. But I tell you what, the real estate market is definitely creeping back, and we've already staged, I believe, almost 5 houses already. It's not
my
even the middle of
goodness.
January yet.
I know, that's great.
On the virtual side, things are going well. Nationwide, it is a little cooler and colder up in the cities, the big cities, so it tends to quiet down a little bit. But actually, the phone was ringing off the hook today.
Good,
So
good.
yeah, I think a lot of properties going on the market, people getting that early start. Spring season is coming.
It is.
Yes.
I know, fastly approaching. I can't even
Yes.
believe it's 2014, but I am excited to chat with you, Katie. So you're the general manager of ADAC, and like I said, it's the Atlanta Decorative Arts Center, and that's like home away from home for designers here in Atlanta. So tell us a little bit about yourself, what your background is, and then a little bit about ADAC.
Sure. Well, I've lived most of my life in Georgia, and I started working with the Portman family who own ADAC about 14 years ago. I was first doing trade shows, leasing the home and accents and furnishings and the outdoor categories at America's Mart, the home and gift trade show organization downtown, which has market going on right now. And about 2 years ago, they moved me over, because of my background with America's Mart, they moved me over to their sister property, the Decorative Arts Center, the Design Center, ADAC, and had me become the general manager there.
Exciting, and I'm sure you love it.
I love every minute of it. I'm around beautiful product all day long.
I know, and you get to meet great people.
And fun people, creative people.
Yeah, well, that is very exciting. So you've been officially at ADAC for, you said, how many years?
I'm coming up on 2 years now.
Okay, awesome. So you get to plan all the exciting events and kind of manage all the details at ADAC, right?
That's correct, with a great team involved as well.
Of course. And Krisztina wasn't there, but my assistant and I were at the Martin and Mary event last year, and that was so much fun.
Yes.
It was really fun and thrilling. It's nice to see that you guys get in these really unique personalities that are in the design industry, and then designers get to work with them, live kind of side by side, and hear from them and hear their experiences. So tell us a little bit more about ADAC and what the Decorative Arts Center is, and break it down, because it generally has been a source for designers, and recently you guys have been open to the public.
Yes, that's right. So we are the premier design center in the Southeast, and again, we were built by architect John Portman over 50 years ago, and it is the resource for the design community and professionals to source product and shop for any of their projects. So there's every product imaginable at ADAC for the home. So antiques and floor coverings, wall coverings, fabrics, accessories, lighting, bath, kitchen tile, anything you could possibly need to decorate your home is at ADAC.
Yeah.
And in 2012, October, we opened to the public. And the reason that we did that is because there's so much change in the industry, and there's so much information now that's available on the internet. And the missing link was having those clients be able to come in and touch and feel all of that product.
Right.
I always say you can't possibly know that you want to buy it if you can't touch and feel it. So
Right.
help those clients get inside and actually touch and feel all the products so that they too want to buy all of the beautiful things that are at ADAC.
Yeah,
So,
and that's a big step. I mean, you guys have not been open to the public for, I guess, ever, right?
never.
Yeah,
Yes,
so-
2012 was the first time.
Yeah, so that's a big step. And like you said, things are changing and things have changed in the industry. So it's nice to see that it's evolving and you guys are evolving with it, right?
Right. Yes, we had to. It was we've heard from our designers that it's just made the process so much easier
Yeah.
for them to be
Yeah.
able to have their clients come in and really understand what they're buying.
Right, right. Well, and for the client to see the experience too. I mean, so many times I think people don't understand what the process is. You know, when you enter into a relationship with a client, they think, oh, you just, you walk around and you shop for all these pretty things all day long. And so once you actually bring them with you and they kind of see the schlepping process and, the details of it, it's like, it is a schlepping job.
It
You
is.
just
I know.
can't
I've
get
been to the
around it.
America's Mart. Yeah,
So
lots
they
of schlepping.
actually appreciate it and kind of it adds a little bit more value.
I hear all the time from designers that, there's 62 showrooms, there's 1,200 product lines, it's over 500,000 square feet between the two buildings, ADAC and ADAC West. And people come in for the very first time and they're so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
And for a client to be able to come in and see all of the depth and breadth of product that's there and really understand this is what my design professional does.
Right.
She helps me or he helps me look through all of these various fabrics and finishes and products, and they find the right ones for me in my home.
Absolutely. And it's a very welcoming place. I mean, when you walk in, you're surrounded by, beautiful furnishings and fabrications and things like that just surround you. And it's, you look to your left and there's modern, you look to the right and there's, rustic antiques and stuff like that. And so it's just really a breath of fresh air. And you're right, it is overwhelming, especially for clients. And you guys even have 2 dining options.
I was going to say, they have 2 restaurants that I've heard about.
So you
My
literally
friends want to go.
can go and spend the whole day there, right?
We do. We have 2. The first is the Hungry Peach, which is really more of the lunch and catering option, and that's your southern comfort food. Like their pimento cheese is absolutely to
I have
die
had it.
for.
It is amazing.
It is. And Suzanne, who's the owner, was actually a winner on Chopped one year.
Oh,
so she's a little
fun.
celebrity
That's
in town,
cute.
which is neat. The other is, of course, KR Steak Bar, and that is located at ADAC West. That is your fine dining for evening, and of course, that's celebrity chef Kevin Rathbun, who owns that restaurant. That's been really unique for us too, because it's brought a different clientele to this very quiet neighborhood in Buckhead, Peachtree Hills. So people who may not have understood what Peachtree Hills was before now, or where ADAC was before now, are now coming to his restaurant, having dinner and asking the question, what's ADAC? And we get to explain. So it's really, it's great for us for 2 reasons. Of course, to have such a nice dining option, but then of course to introduce new people to ADAC.
Yes. So if you're in Atlanta and you're shopping and you're in the South, definitely go check those 2 out in addition to ADAC, because they provide, it just kind of completes the experience. Because when you're shopping and you're walking around and you're going from store to store and your mind is thinking and you're overwhelmed, it's like you get hungry. So
Yeah, and that Peachtree Hills neighborhood is going to be changing very slowly
yeah.
soon. I think they're working on some new developments over there.
Right.
Nursing. and all
So
that
I do want to know, though, how has it been since you guys have been open to the public? Like, how has that change been? Has it been a good change for you guys? What do you feel like the huge impact has been?
It's been an awesome change.
Good.
We had the busiest year in 2013. When we opened up to the public, one of the main things that we were doing was events. So not only have we had a ton of events in 2013, but one of the best changes has been hearing from the design community that it is making their process so much easier and working with the clients. And that's ultimately what it's all about, getting more and more people to understand the value of hiring an interior designer and what that brings to their home and how they can then create an experience, and have in their own home this house that they love and they want to be in every single room.
Right. So if a designer's listening and they're not registered with ADAC, what is that process?
It's very simple. Just see Janet at the front desk and she'll help you.
Janet's wonderful. She's been there for God knows how many years. I mean, I think probably at least 8 years that I've been there.
Yes,
so.
more than that. She's
Yeah.
great. She knows that building inside and out. And
Yeah.
it's not, there are certain credentials that we do need to see that any designer has and can produce very quickly. But other than that, it's not a very rigorous process.
Right.
And then if anyone else is coming in through the door, we do like to badge at the front door only for the sake of helping the showroom personnel understand who's walking through that door and how do they need to help them. Is it a
Right.
design professional, or is it someone that's going to need to understand pricing from a different standpoint?
Yeah.
Is that information on your website?
We do, and you can also call the office,
Okay.
but it is
And
on
what's
our,
that
and social
website
media.
address again? What's your website address?
ADACatlanta.com.
Okay.
Yeah.
Atlanta spelled out.
Okay.
That's
And you-
ADAC, yeah, just in
Yeah.
case.
Yes. And you guys are on all the social media sites. I follow you. I think you're on Instagram too, right?
Yes, every single one of them.
Right. Now, you had mentioned before that there's two different parts to ADAC, you know, west and then the other side. And so I want to come back to that because I want you to kind of break it down and tell us a little bit about what each entails. We are here today with Katie Belveal, and she is the general manager of ADAC here in Atlanta. And I have Krisztina Bell joining me again. And we are going to head to commercial break. We will be right back.
Come on, follow Sniffles to Atlanta's go-to center for breathing easy. Do you suffer from chronic sinus headaches, recurrent sinusitis, facial pain or pressure, and chronic congestion? Well, balloon sinuplasty just could be the cure you're looking for.
Follow me and breathe easy.
Follow Sniffles.com. We treat the problem, not the symptom. Chronic sinus symptoms, gone. This could be the cure you're looking for.
Follow me and breathe easy.
This proven in-office procedure can have you breathing easy, back to work the next day, and it's done under local anesthesia. Get lasting relief, a quick recovery, and start breathing easy again.
Follow me and breathe easy.
Follow Sniffles.com.
Did you miss a show that you really wanted to hear? All of our programs are available for download on americaswebradio.com and on iTunes. You can listen to your favorite programs on americaswebradio.com anytime you like.
Cook Immigration Partners is your passport through the immigration maze. Whether it's help with E-Verify in your business, or help in how to document a new employee under the new I-9 rules, or if you marry a foreign national, Cook Immigration Partners is your best choice for a legal advocate. Call us today at 866-286-6200. That's 866-286-6200, or visit us on the web at www.immigration.net.
Do your children know where their food comes from? At connectingfarmtofork.com, there's all kinds of ways to help your child understand how 300 million of us here in America stay nourished, clothed, and healthy. Activities, food facts, and farm visits help young people learn about America's hardworking farmers and have lots of fun doing it. Visit connectingfarmtofork.com today for a learning experience that'll really grow on you. connectingfarmtofork.com. Brought to you by the people who care at Feedstuffs Food Link.
This is americaswebradio.com, the best in chat radio designed just for you.
And we're back with At Home with Paisley, here today with Katie Belveal, and she is the general manager of ADAC, the Atlanta Decorative Arts Center. And before the break, we were chatting with Katie a little bit about ADAC and that they are now recently open to the public. And Katie, you had mentioned that there are two different sides to ADAC, and I want you to kind of elaborate on that because it actually can be confusing a little bit directionally wise. So there's ADAC and ADAC West. Break those down for us.
Sure, absolutely. So ADAC is your main building that has 5 floors, and it has all of the, most of the showrooms are located at ADAC. ADAC West is a one-story building, 2 of them right next door to ADAC, and it's not far, it's walking distance. Right. But you, at ADAC West, you will find what we call 2-tier. Those are showrooms that are open to the public and will actually sell retail as well as to a designer at a discount. Some of the new showrooms that we have there are Janus AC, which is a very awesome high-end outdoor. We have a framing company there. We have some bath and tile companies, and something new and very exciting that we have coming up this spring is Peacock Alley will be joining us.
Oh,
and
very
they
nice.
have great high-end bedding. So
bedding is their big thing. Exactly.
So that's very, very exciting for spring. That is also where Kevin Rathbun's restaurant is located as well. So the general public can come into ADAC as well, but you know, there's so much more of the buying is done through the design professional, mainly for the fact that it is such customization options that you really want a professional guiding you through the process.
Right. Well, and when you show up and if you register, they hand you a big directory, and it's, you know, it's like the size of a real book. It's so thick because there's just so many showrooms, you know.
1,200 lines at ADAC.
I know, it's crazy. And now walk us through, I mean, I know the answers, but for people who've never been, are the floors categorized by different different departments, or is it all scattered?
It's all mixed, and that's really for a reason. You want to be able to see all of the product at ADAC and not just go to one floor. But we have lots of new and exciting showrooms and expansions that are going on this year on all various different floors. And we have some really new products that are coming in. Of course, some of the new showrooms are going to be still that traditional, very sophisticated, just beautiful showrooms with amazing finishes. But we also have a new unique element, which is sort of this younger, hip, edgier side. Ryan Hughes and Martin Nash and Paul Plus are three showrooms that are really hitting that sort of younger, hip, fresh, edgy side.
Right. Well, and I think the design community in Atlanta has really changed from that kind of traditional appearance, and people, maybe the more mature crowd were the people who were spending money on their homes and stuff like that. And now with how I think things have evolved in the industry, we do have that younger kind of group of professionals that are looking to do their homes, and they're looking for more of a trendy, edgy design than the traditionalism that was a part of Atlanta before. So it's nice that you guys have both.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's actually one of the biggest changes I think Atlanta has seen. You know, we've always been known for our tradition in design. Your mother had a designer, so of course you hire a designer.
Right.
We're not having to teach quite as much about why you hire an interior designer, because it's just been a part of our lives for so long. But we've always been known for that very traditional side in the South. And now Atlanta and the Southeast are really starting to be known for having more of that modern and fresh and edgier feel.
I know the mid-century modern is huge right now.
Huge.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, and I just had a client the other day that was saying, we have this big southern home. Can we put the mid-century in it? And it's like, yes, of course you can, with the vaulted ceilings and the crown molding and everything. But that's why you need a designer to help you achieve that, because you can't just go and buy a bunch of mid-century modern furniture and stick it in, the traditional homes that are here in Atlanta.
Right.
So,
Learning how to layer it and mix it.
right. Exactly. So that's really nice you guys offer that. And so ADAC and ADAC West, there's a little bit of a difference in the actually going in and buying, I guess, purchasing power versus going into ADAC versus ADAC West.
Yeah, it's really up to the designer, though, and their and whatever their relationships and what they're buying.
Okay.
But no huge difference for the designer. It's just that the general public can also buy things at ADAC West.
So speaking of kind of retail versus ADAC, what would you say the benefit is of people working and shopping with ADAC versus going to the retail stores?
You'll just find so many more options at ADAC versus the retail stores. Of course, because it's so design-oriented, there's just so many customization options that are available that you would never be able to find at a retail store. But the other thing is that you'll find trends that you'd never see at or you will see at a retail store, but you'll see them, further on down the line. We get things at ADAC 6 months to a year before a retail store will start seeing it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. It's nice to be able to have that kind of edge on what's to come, and like you're saying, you're only really offered that opportunity through ADAC or through the professionals, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So as we're talking, I'm looking at your purple dress, and I'm thinking, okay, so Pantone's color of the year is
Rancid Orchid.
Yes, and you just happen to be wearing purple today.
Yeah,
So.
and I got a top just like that color, and I now know what to put with it. I was trying to figure out what to wear with it. Creams, grays. I like the look.
Very cute.
Very cute.
So what do you think of Pantone's color?
Oh, well, clearly I like it. I have it on today. We just think it's so interesting. We were actually talking about this at our office the other day about how fashion influences interior design so much.
We talked about that on the show a lot.
And, this color, I mean, it is so hot right now. It's been hot in 2013 into 2014, and now you're going to see it in a lot of the interiors, especially with the Pantone color of the year.
Well, and it's not a color that I think the general public would say, oh, yeah, I want my, living room, I want pops of that color in my room, but it's beautiful, and it can be very nicely done, again, with the help of a professional, because otherwise it could be very dangerous.
Yeah, it could be a dangerous color, too. Yeah.
Remind me
Not
of,
a good idea
like
for staging
Barney
purposes.
or something
No.
like that. So, yeah.
After the home is bought.
Yeah, after the home is bought, yes.
Exactly.
Exactly. Thank you.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you kind of get to see the trends ahead of time and stuff like that. Now that we're in January, we know market's happening right now. what are some trends that you're seeing that you think the public will see over the next couple months kind of unfold?
Metallics are really big. They were big in 2013, but it's continuing in 2014. One of the things that I love right now is that those unlacquered finishes, like unlacquered brass finishes. I think those are just so amazing now. It's very edgy, very, very cool. I also like lacquer on, your built-ins and your offices. Those bold pops of color, like navy lacquered offices, are really cool to me.
I just did Kelly Green lacquered bookcases, and I love them.
Yeah.
I love them. They're so fun.
It's a bold statement, but I also think it's, it kind of makes the room cozier in a way.
It does. It just adds another pop, and it also adds another dimension of that is not something that just a normal person would think of, and so it really it gives you that vibe of, okay, someone really put the attention and detail into putting this together. Right. So, exactly. And I'm glad to see that you mentioned the lacquered, because the lacquered furniture and everything was really popular last year, and it's still sticking around, obviously.
Still very much.
Yeah. What about patterns? Any patterns you can think of? I mean, Greek key was really hot last year.
Yeah, and I think really it's you'll see it a lot in wallpaper. Wallpaper is back.
I
mean,
know.
big time wallpaper. And those graphic, bold prints and bold colors.
Right.
We're seeing a lot of that in wallpaper.
And actually, we're going to learn more about wallpaper in a couple weeks. We've got a wallpaper designer who has a website coming on.
Yeah, and we actually had
weeks.
Mike Duncan on the show. He is the rep for Atlanta for York Wallpaper, and we had him on the show probably about 6 months ago, and he was just kind of educating us, and we were talking to just the public about how wallpaper is very different from the 90s. It's completely different. It's fabricated differently, and it's not going to be plastered on your wall for the next 20 years, and you can't rip it down.
Right.
That, and then on top of it with the digitally printed things and stuff like that, it's just a whole nother game, and really some awesome options. So.
We were seeing some amazing textures in wallpaper at our last market in the fall.
Yeah.
Some really, really neat textures that you would never envision that you would see on a wall.
Right. Yeah, I totally agree. I know, I love talking about this. I'm so glad you're our guest today. It's so much fun.
She's getting into it. Watch out.
So back to the questions though. So you mentioned earlier in the show that ADAC hosts events, and you guys, you have people come in and speak to designers. Do they actually speak to the public also, or are the events only for professionals?
No, absolutely. Our events are for everyone who wants to come, and they are free, which is really, really neat.
There's no admission fee.
No admission fee whatsoever.
Good to know.
We do ask you to register for the events because, at a certain point we can cap out, but at the same time it is free. So if you get on that registration list early, you'll be fine. And but yes, they're open to anyone, open to the public. Sometimes we do have a trade only event, and anytime we have that, it will be very specific. Those are going to be more of your educational events, things that are continuing education, very technical things that are really only going to apply to the design professional.
Right.
But the other types of events that we do, like celebrity keynote presentations, those are open for everyone. Community events, cocktail parties, partnerships.
I know, and what a better way to spend, morning or an evening learning about interior design, and whoever's speaking usually, it's very interesting, and you have a really huge mix of guests and people who offer a lot of knowledge and information. So even if you're not a professional, I would imagine it would be pretty entertaining.
It is. There's celebrities in our world, in this design world. When you're opening up a magazine like an Architectural Digest or a Veranda, those are people that are coming to ADAC and actually speaking. So they're kind of like celebrities.
You've got the Suzanne Kasslers, the Vern Yips, and all those. And like I said, I was at the Marion Martin event last year, and
we had Miles Redd, we had Mario Boada, Michael Smith. We Architectural Digest just released the AD Top 100 list, and we went through that list and found out we had just under 20 at ADAC in the last couple of years, and we have several already slated for 2014. Some really big names.
Very exciting.
That's good stuff.
So to find out what the calendar looks like for this year, you just need to register, right?
Yes, adacatlanta.com.
Okay, and then you automatically get onto the email list.
Yes, you can register for an event, and that will put you onto the list. There's a section on our website called Events, and that will lead you to any of our calendar and events that are coming up this year.
So tell us about some of the upcoming events. I know you have Design ADAC, right?
Yes, that's right. So we have 2 markets a year, one in the spring and one in the fall. The spring market is called Design ADAC, and it is co-sponsored by Veranda Magazine. And it is 4 days of events, and it culminates in our big Southeast Designer of the Year Awards ceremony, which recognizes the top talent in the Southeast for interior design and contract design and architecture. But that week of events, we have big celebrities that will be coming in, so register early for those as soon as we have that ready.
Right.
Other things that we have going on are, we've got an Atlanta Homes and Lifestyles Reader Day that's coming up in February. We have more partnership events in the community. We're going to Nashville this year for the Nashville Antiques and Garden Show. We're partnering with the American Craft Council, so lots of fun things coming up.
That's very exciting. And Design ADAC, I mean, if one was to kind of show up for all 4 days, what would that entail?
There's all-day events, so you could literally get there at 9:30 in the morning, get ready to go into the first event, and stay for the entire day.
Right.
There are usually 2 to 3 keynote presentations, celebrities that are going to give a presentation, usually some book signings that go with that, and then we'll have some showroom presentations, some educational things about products that are at ADAC. That's how we learned about all the wallpaper this year. So it's 4 days of those types of events. And then, of course, we have our big ceremony at the end.
Yeah, very fun. And then later on in the year, you said you have ADAC spring and then
In the fall market.
Yeah.
So Discover ADAC is in the fall, and we don't have that lineup quite yet.
Okay.
But that's usually held in October, just before High Point, usually a week or 2 before High Point.
Right.
So have that on the radar.
Yeah. So like I mentioned earlier, though, right now is Market, and America's Mart is open, and that's, kind of the show going on right now. Can you explain to us what the difference would be? People ask me all the time, what's the difference between the Mart and ADAC? So can you kind of break that down for someone who doesn't really know?
Sure. America's Mart is the largest gift and home furnishings trade show in the country. So, but their main buyer is going to be the retail buyer. So anything that you're going to see at the retail level, any of the stores that have retail products, they're going to the market to buy. And that's a 10-day market that they're coming in for, and then the difference between that and ADAC is that it's interior design professionals that we service at ADAC.
Right. And at the Mart, there's gift and fashion and all that stuff, too.
Apparel, yes, jewelry, everything.
Right.
Gourmet.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, the gourmet section
They
now,
do
yes.
everything, yes. So you're definitely more geared towards interior design.
Yes.
Yeah, very cool. And on events, you mentioned you've got Design ADAC coming up. Besides just kind of the local events at ADAC, how do you guys branch out into the community with that?
There's a couple of events that we're going to be partnering with this year coming up, and our goal in the future is to take ADAC on the road. And
what does that mean?
It's pop-up ADAC. So what we want to do is branch out into these other communities in this 10-state region that we service. So we have interior designers that come in from Birmingham and Nashville and Charleston and Charlotte. And so rather than just always have them come to us in Atlanta, it makes sense for us to go to them. So eventually what we'd like to do is take our ADAC showrooms and partner with the designers in those communities and bring ADAC to those communities. But first, we need to get more involved in those communities. So we're doing and partnering with some of the events that will be going on. For instance, the Cashiers Show House is in North Carolina. We sponsored that for the first time this year. That was a lot of fun. This year we're going to be going to Nashville for the Nashville Antiques and Garden Show, and really starting to get integrated in those communities.
Okay. So when you say ADAC pop-up, that means that you will be bringing like materials and showrooms to other states?
That's what we'd like to do. We'd like to take, ADAC showrooms with their products and take them to those cities and just create a pop-up ADAC of all the products.
It sounds so easy, but I don't know how that's, I'm trying to wrap my brain around that process, so that's very interesting, but that will be more to come, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. Well, we're here today with Katie Belveal, and she's the general manager of ADAC. She's talking to us all about ADAC, their events, and this future ADAC pop-up, whatever it's going to be. I'm looking forward to that. So we're going to head to commercial break, and we'll be right back.
This is Michael Gano with Insight to Israel. Every day, the Israeli Defense Force finds itself on the front line of the war with the militant arm of Islam. Surrounded by enemies from within and without, they fight for the only Jewish state. Military service is mandatory, ladies serving 2 years and men serving 3 right out of high school. While young people in other democracies are busy traveling or attending university, Israeli men and women gear up for basic training. In a world of heads of state, politicians, ambassadors, diplomats, and a leftist media, many times our voice at the grassroots level is drowned out. So we started an ongoing project called Hershey's for Heroes. Patriot conservatives from all over the U.S. are sending Hershey's chocolate bars with a note of thanks for defending Israel. Won't you join us by sending a sweet message to the IDF? For information, please see my Facebook page at Michael Gano. Thank you, God bless Patriot conservatives, and God bless Israel in her struggle for sovereignty and security.
This is Cheryl Linker, host of the Master Gardener Hour on America's Web Radio, Saturday morning at 11 o'clock. Join us as we keep things fun and interesting as we educate you in the world of master gardening.
This is Dr. Susan Blank, Medical Director for the Atlanta Healing Center. Our team is able to offer a multitude of treatment options such as quantitative EEG, also known as brain mapping, hormonal and nutritional assessments, neuropsychological testing, and cognitive therapy, along with traditional 12-step facilitation. And we can even offer you, if appropriate, a gentle medically managed detox. Please contact us at 770-696-9862.
Hi, this is Dave Smith. Listen every Monday to America's Web Radio, The American Dream. My past background was healthcare, being president of insurance companies, will keep you informed on healthcare and other topics that's going on in Washington and around this great country. American Dream, 10 a.m., America's Web Radio.
This is americaswebradio.com, the best in chat radio designed just for you.
And we're back with At Home with Paisley, here today with Krisztina Bell, my co-host from Virtually Staging Properties. Don't forget to check out her website. It's virtuallystagingproperties.com. And our guest today is Katie Belveal from ADAC, and that is adacatlanta.com. And like I said earlier in the show, they're kind of home away from home for designers, and so I'm happy to have you here. And before the break, we were chatting about how you guys are kind of getting a little bit more involved into the local community and wanting to branch out to other states with ADAC pop-up. And there will be more to come on that. But I want to know, how are you guys making more of like a national kind of regional presence?
Yeah, it's a lot of those partnerships that we're doing throughout the Southeast. We're doing more in the city as well. Mm-hmm. And also our magazine partnerships. You know, we have partnerships with a lot of the national media, all of the Hearst publications from Veranda,
Mm-hmm.
El Decor, House Beautiful, as well as Architectural Digest, but some of the regional publications, or even publications that are produced regionally but are national publications, such as Flower Magazine. We want to get more involved with Garden and Gun this year.
And I love them.
Yes,
yeah.
They are doing great things.
Yeah, I've heard.
So watch out. They might be a part of our pop-up coming up.
Okay, and so when you say you want to get more involved with them, what does that mean? I mean, they're magazines, so how are you getting involved?
With all of our partnerships that we do, anytime we advertise and get involved with a magazine, we build a larger partnership. It's not just advertising, or it's not just editorial coverage that we get from those magazines. Instead, we build an entire partnership that really focuses more around events. So you'll see that Veranda sponsors our design,
Mm-hmm.
ADAC, but then, you know, Architectural Digest or Hearst, the other Hearst publications may come in and partner with us and host, you know, all-day events. Atlanta Homes and Lifestyles does an entire reader day that's
Mm-hmm.
coming up in February. And so Garden and Gun is another one that we've reached out to, that we have a very similar clientele, people that have interest in their magazine, have an interest in the products that are at ADAC. So we're looking to them to help us build a partnership,
Right.
and possibly partner on this whole pop-up idea.
Oh, that is very exciting.
So there's some of the others that we're going to be interested in working with in 2014. You know, Traditional Home has some great ideas as well. And with each one, we want to bring a new partnership, not just a day of events, but what new kind of exciting thing can we bring and partner together to create.
Yeah, well, Traditional Home and some of the other, you know, Architectural Digest and Veranda, they all have very different, I mean, stylistically, they're very different magazines.
Stylistically, they're all different magazines. I read them all.
It's,
I like Traditional Home, though. That's a good one.
It's great. And they're really known for the show houses. You know, we, ADAC sponsors many of the show houses. Of course, one of the largest and oldest show houses in the country is the Atlanta Symphony Orchestra show house right here in Atlanta. So this year, they're going to be partnering with Traditional Home on that, as well as Atlanta Homes and Lifestyles. So that's going to
be very exciting news. Yeah, that is really exciting. So you're partnering with some magazine companies. You're branching out maybe with this design ADAC pop-up to come. Yes. I feel like I need to call it something like ADAC pop-up. Just it sounds so mobile, you know?
It should be. It's got to go to different cities.
It is mobile.
Does ADAC have an app? I feel like they do.
No, not yet. That's interestingly, that's something we were just talking about earlier this year. What do we want to
elaborate?
do? We don't know yet. Okay. It's something that we want to create. It's on the horizon.
I think that would be great.
Yeah, maybe that can be your little map or directory handheld, and I don't know what else.
Get to events, register event. I mean, there's all kinds of things.
That makes sense. What's the, I guess, most exciting event that you're looking forward to this year?
You know, we have something really new that we're going to be doing this year. Last year, we partnered with the Atlanta Food and Wine Festival. And as I was saying, you know, we're trying to reach out with new and different types of partnerships. That one's more of a lifestyle. And, you know, of course, we're interior design. That's more food and wine. But those two people that have interest in both really, you know, cross both gamuts.
Right.
So what we want to do is partner with them in a much bigger way. And we have a fantastic and fun idea. It's going to involve Kevin Rathbun and his restaurants. And one of the most exciting pieces of it is that we are going to be recognizing some rising star talent in both industries, both the food and the interior design industry this year.
That is exciting, and you are right. They do normally go hand in hand. People who you know, are foodies or winos or whatever, they also usually are really
signings,
into
combination book signings,
real estate and the housing market and stuff like that. I don't know what the connection. I guess it's all home related,
right?
Yeah. You know?
Well, I mean, chefs. I mean, that's a work of art as well.
Yeah.
And what they're putting on that plate is a work of art. I mean, a mixologist. That's a work of art too. Well, what a designer is designing is a work of art.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's all creative talent involved.
I know.
So
and when would that be? You said
that will be at the end of May. So be on the lookout for that. That'll of course go on our website. We have agreed to the partnership, so it is definitely a go. And it's going to be called Kevin Rathbun's Watch List.
Oh, fun.
Boy, he's getting lots of airtime here.
Now, you guys are on all the social media outlets, Pinterest and all that stuff. So when you're pinning and you guys are on Twitter, are you updating like what's going on with ADAC, or what do your social media sites have?
A little bit of everything, because number one, of course, we want to make sure that people know about our events. So, and we use different platforms for different you know, getting the message out about different types of things. Right. Events, we want to go ahead and make sure that people know about those on Facebook. But when we're at the event, we usually use Instagram to show all those party pics, and we've got a lot of interaction with that. But, you know, we might also look at trends on Pinterest. So it really varies on which platform we're using for each of those. Sometimes we cross all three for different pieces of information that we're sending out. You know, if showrooms have new products that they're introducing, they may want to send that out through Facebook, but then we also want to maybe add that to our Instagram or our Pinterest.
Right. And do you know the like Twitter names and stuff like that you can share? Or
Twitter for ADAC is capital ADAC Atlanta.
Okay. Yeah.
And lowercase.
And Facebook, I'm sure it's just ADAC, right?
ADAC Atlanta.
Or Atlanta Decorative Arts Center.
Yeah.
And then we're also using a hashtag this year, which is hashtag ADAC 2014.
Oh, and what does that mean?
Well, anytime you're at our ADAC for any of our events, you'll want to use that hashtag.
Okay.
So that, of course, that it'll
So all the cool people can see it.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, I'll make a note.
Yeah. And we, you know, sometimes at our events we'll do prizes, and, you know, for Instagram, for instance, we'll do little prizes for people when they use our hashtags.
Yes, I did see. I think it was on Twitter. I don't know, when you were doing the Martin and Mary event or something, maybe I think you had someone who it was like reposting or something. It was a giveaway for something.
Yes.
So,
yeah. So when what we'll do is we'll look through at the end of the day and see what, fun posts or what fun pictures were taken throughout the market, and then we'll have some sort of a signed book giveaway, and, give a big surprise.
I know, that is so fun. Now, just to clarify, because I feel like if people are listening and they really just have no idea what ADAC is, and they're not a designer or they don't have a designer, this is, when you say that you're the largest kind of Southeast supplier, basically, there's not like an ADAC in every state. So
no, there's not. We service a 10-state region, which is actually the largest region for a design center. There are design centers located all over the country. Of course, New York and LA, San Francisco, the Dallas Design District, there's Houston, Dakotas located in South Florida. So there are design districts all over the country. ADAC is unique in that we service the entire Southeast region, so people will come in from other cities, such as Birmingham and Charlotte and Nashville and Charleston.
Right, to source product and to find what they're looking for.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and, before I knew that, I just thought, oh, okay, well, they must have a decorative arts center in every state, because that's just, you would think would be like common sense, but it's not. And this is why Atlanta's such a huge hub for interior design.
That's right.
Is because you guys are here, the Mart's here, and stuff like that.
Right.
So.
It's like having a shopping mall for designers. And unfortunately, there's not one in every single city, but and we have the very best lines and the top lines that people will fly and travel all over the country to see and touch and feel.
And what's the most northern state that you said the 10-state region?
We'll go all the way up to Virginia. There is a design region in DC, but we'll go all the way up to Virginia, and then probably west towards about Louisiana, and then down to about the panhandle of Florida.
Okay. And you host the Southeast Designer of the Year event every year, right?
That's right.
So tell us about that, because it's a huge event, and I'd love to know a little bit about it for people who don't know what it is, and then also how that is judged and what that entails.
Sure. Southeast Designers and Architect of the Year is a big award ceremony that we host at the end of our spring market, and it sort of is the big culmination gala, and it recognizes the top talent in the Southeast for interior design, contract design, and architecture. And it is not just winners from here in Atlanta. Last year we had an architect that won out of Birmingham. The year before we had a designer that won out of Hilton Head, South Carolina. So it is truly a Southeast region scope that we're reaching for that.
Right.
And we want to recognize people. It's not just in Atlanta. There is such amazing design talent located all over the Southeast, and we want to make sure that those people are recognized.
Right, and it's usually like a couple-day event, right? There's the ceremony, but before that, you guys have an event.
Yes, and then the judging process, as you were asking, is all part of that spring market. So Veranda is the judge for that. They support and sponsor our spring market. So we send all of the submissions anonymously to Veranda, and the editor-in-chief will go through all of those submissions and choose the winner. Last year, of course, that was Derek Capernigo, but we are thrilled that this year it's going to be Clint Smith, who was formerly the editor-in-chief of Atlanta Homes and Lifestyles, who's now become the editor-in-chief at Veranda.
Okay. I knew there was a transition, but I didn't know who took her place.
Yes, he's our hometown boy, is now the editor-in-chief there. So
Okay.
So he'll be back for Design ADAC. He's hosting 2 of our events during Design ADAC, and then that Thursday evening, to close out the entire week of events, he will help me host the Southeast Designer of the Year, and we will announce the 3 winners.
Okay.
But just to be nominated on that list of prestigious winners is absolutely amazing, and people tell me all the time, just to be somebody that was on that list and announced.
It's a huge accomplishment.
Huge accomplishment. Last year it was Suzanne Kessler. She's also on AD Top 100 this year.
Yeah.
So,
well, she's hot. I mean, she's she has.
I went to her book signing
bungalow.
That was nice.
Yeah.
That was a nice event. Her book, new book that came out.
She's a brand new book.
Brand new. Yeah. I got that signed.
Number 2
as a gift.
Yeah. Do you have any events with her coming up, or can you say?
No, not yet, but I do know she and I have talked about bringing that book over to ADAC and making sure that people have a chance to get that signed.
Very exciting. So if you're nominated, and then you said they reveal the winners, there's 3 winners, what do they win besides the title? Is there anything else, or is it just the accomplishment of that?
It's the accomplishment of it. There is an award, but then, of course, there's press that goes with it. We make sure that we spread that news throughout the entire Southeast, and we've had many publications throughout the Southeast that have picked that up. And of course, Veranda will then cover the story because they're involved in that.
Definitely. Well, that is very exciting. Thanks for breaking that down for us. We are going to head to commercial break, and we will be right back.
Hi, this is Kate Copsey, inviting you to listen year-round to America's Homegrown Veggie Show every Saturday at 10 a.m.
Come on, follow Sniffles to Atlanta's go-to center for breathing easy. Do you suffer from chronic sinus headaches, recurrent sinusitis, facial pain or pressure, and chronic congestion? Well, balloon sinuplasty just could be the cure you're looking for.
Follow me and breathe easy.
Follow Sniffles.com. We treat the problem, not the symptom. Chronic sinus symptoms, gone. This could be the cure you're looking for.
Follow me and breathe easy.
This proven in-office procedure can have you breathing easy, back to work the next day, and it's done under local anesthesia. Get lasting relief, a quick recovery, and start breathing easy again.
Follow me and breathe easy.
Follow Sniffles.com.
Did you miss a show that you really wanted to hear? All of our programs are available for download on americaswebradio.com and on iTunes. You can listen to your favorite programs on americaswebradio.com anytime you like.
Today's consumers find themselves faced with a greater variety of choices than ever before, both in the food they eat and the information they receive about that food. Feedstuffs Food Link was created to provide you with a balanced source of information for making decisions about your family's balanced diet. Visit feedstuffsfoodlink.com to learn about your food directly from the source, the people who work every day to provide it. Feedstuffsfoodlink.com, connecting farm to fork.
This is americaswebradio.com, the best in chat radio designed just for you.
And we are back with At Home with Paisley, here today with Katie Belveal from ADAC. And before the break, we were just chatting a little bit more about the Southeast Designer of the Year event that you guys have. And so you broke that down for us. I would like to know, well, we're almost running out of time, but I want to know, how do you guys work? Let's say if a client or someone doesn't have a designer and they're looking for a professional, how can you connect them to the professionals?
Sure, and that was one of the main things that we wanted to make sure that we were doing when we opened up to the public. We wanted, this was all about teaching the general public about the value of hiring an interior designer. How do they find an interior designer? And many people, they don't know how to do that.
Right.
So ADAC is a resource for that. We want people to come to ADAC and feel comfortable that, first it's about getting educated and seeing what are the beautiful products that are at ADAC, but then, when they're ready, how do I hire a designer?
Right.
And a couple of ways we do that. Number one is events. That's a very easy, relaxed environment to come in, network, meet people. You could be sitting next to someone that then becomes your interior designer
Yeah, I
later.
didn't even think of that. That's a great idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
That is-
Networking is my thing, so I know all about that, and
Yes.
that is a
Okay.
great way. So good
And
point.
With every single event that we do, we often have some sort of a reception afterwards that's hosted by a showroom. So you can not only see what product is in that showroom in a very relaxed environment, but it also allows you
Right.
to then network with people. We do have offices at ADAC for interior designers. We have a handful at ADAC West, and we are interested in growing that further. We have some ideas on how to grow that in the future. But one of the most successful programs that we introduced in October of 2012 was this new program called Behind the Windows. And it was an idea that was born of how do we match designers and people that are coming into the building together. So the first 2 years that we did that, or first 2 times, it's a 6-month installation. We took a showroom and an interior designer and matched them up, and they created a 6-month installation in what was an empty showroom, but is just sort of a show space, if you will, sort of a storefront.
Right.
And they create a room, a dining room, a bedroom, a living room, anything that they want to, an outdoor space, and it really allows you to see what that designer's taste and style and what they can create, and it helps connect for the general public to be able to see this is what a designer does. This is how they put it together. So that was the first year. This year, we started something new, and that is that we allowed the designers to come in and use any product all over ADAC, and that really opened up the doors so they could just create any type of display and any type of room that they wanted to. Interestingly enough, it's been a great way to match the designer and the consumer. We've had several designers come and tell us that they've gotten projects out of it.
Wow.
Someone walks through the front door, they're talking to Janet at the front desk.
Yeah.
She says, here, you want to hire a designer? Why don't you look at our windows? We have 12, and we've had people come back and tell us that they ended up hiring a designer right out of it.
Okay, so if I'm understanding correctly, it's called Behind the Windows, and a designer can come and basically kind of set up like a vignette or a showroom of their own to welcome in people who it presents their design style and their capabilities, and then a client interested can pursue that relationship with them.
Yes, absolutely. So, what they'll do is they'll design an entire room. So it might be a bedroom, again, a living room, an outdoor space, and it is in a storefront of a showroom, and that is left in place for 6 months. We have a brochure that shows all of the designers, all of their contact information.
Right.
And so as people walk through ADAC and see all of these windows, then they can look down and say, I like that style, I like what that designer's doing, and I want to hire them.
Right, so does the designer lease this space?
Nope, this is something that we do for the design community. It's just a little added benefit. And again, it's to tie on to the idea that we want to help people really understand the value of hiring a designer. This is about hiring a designer.
Yeah.
One new thing that we added to it too this year was called ADAC The Experience, and legendary designer Stan Topol created a room that not only could you stand in the hallway and look, but you could also walk through and step beyond the glass into the room that he's created, sit on the sofa, touch anything that he put into that room, and he has an entire source sheet to show you where he sourced those products from around ADAC. So it's the first of its kind in the country.
And that is called what?
ADAC The Experience.
ADAC The Experience. And Stan Topol is very, very talented. He's wonderful.
Yes, he is a legend.
Absolutely, definitely. Well, that's interesting. And so if designers are listening and they want to get on board with that Behind the Windows, is there a list, or how would they get in touch with you about that?
I was just going to ask you about that. How do they get involved, or how do you choose?
Right. They can tell us that they have interest. The number one way that I recommend is to be at ADAC, network, be involved with those showrooms, get to know those showroom owners, the showroom managers, because when we do a call for entries, we go to the showrooms and ask them, who would you like to see do a window this time? We don't duplicate windows, so anytime someone does it, then it's next list. Yep, it's a whole new crop of people that are coming in. So that's the biggest thing. Come in, network, work with those showrooms so that they put, they say, I'd like to see what this person can do.
Well, I'm just sitting here thinking about how opening to the public, there was kind of like a little bit of a scare on the designer end of that, because we were kind of thinking, okay, well, what's this going to be like? It's never happened before. And it just sounds like you guys are offering so much value to the designers and the public.
I've heard mixed reviews.
Yes.
Sorry. Okay. I'm
But
being
it
honest.
sounds like a very
but yeah, it does.
Yeah.
You're really helping them.
Positive
and
experience for everybody.
Well, it was change, and it was new, and no one knew what to expect, because for 50 years this design center had only been open to interior designers. So, of course, there was a lot of fear. But what we did was, of course, we were very open and talked to people in the design community, held meetings and said, come talk to us to help calm some of that fear. But we needed it to just happen first, so we could show the designers that we're not trying to sell to directly to their client or cut their profession out. In fact, complete opposite. What we're trying to do is teach people why they would hire that designer. We want to help the designer get more, have more projects and do more homes around the Southeast.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that was, like we said, the fear from the professional side of it, but it really seems like you guys have really opened up the opportunities to increase designers' business, but at the same time just really expand for clients wanting to go in or public wanting to go in and get to know the design industry. And really, there's no nothing can be hurt by the knowledge of what we do. And like I said, the experience, it's a very difficult industry. And so I think that's really interesting. And I love that you have the events open to the public. And that's kind of your thought process of, okay, well, if you're jiving with the designer standing next to you, then why don't you take her card and maybe hire her?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
We really want it to be an experience overall. It is a luxury brand. We have lots of luxury brands and lines in our showrooms, so we want to create that luxury brand experience. So when you come into ADAC, we want everyone to feel welcome. We want the designer to feel welcome. We want the client to feel welcome. We want them to want to come to the events and learn more. We want them to want the product that's in there.
Yeah.
And then, of course, in the end, we want them to want to hire an interior designer.
Right, absolutely. So what would you say is next on the list for ADAC? Where do you think the future is taking ADAC? I mean, you guys have made some major changes, but what does the future hold?
That's, again, we want to get out into our communities more. We would like to get into the Southeast and get to all of these other cities. You know, we're really trying to reach Atlanta first, and that was through all of these events that we're doing and these partnerships and all of these new and interesting partnerships. But next, it's about doing those partnerships in other cities.
Right.
How do we get to the food and wine festivals in the other cities? How do we get to the show houses in the other cities and help the entire Southeast region really understand what ADAC is all about?
Expand and grow. Now, do you guys do any charity events or anything like that? Or
Yeah, actually, there's a really great new charity event that's coming up that we're partnering with this year. It's called Dwell with Dignity. It is in Dallas right now, and they are expanding for the first time into Atlanta. They're part of the Design Bloggers Conference, which is coming up in ADAC in March. I'm sorry, in Atlanta in March.
In Atlanta, yeah.
We are
live in
ADAC. We are supporting it, though.
Yeah.
So we're sponsoring Design Bloggers Conference. But Dwell with Dignity is a charity organization that helps people that are coming out of sort of either homeless or halfway houses, and they help them find an apartment and decorate that entire apartment, down to serving dinner for the first night, down to Peacock Alley sheets that they get to sleep on, to really make every single person, especially a child growing up, understand that they don't have to sleep on a mattress on a concrete floor, that they too can have wonderful, beautiful things.
Yeah, I love that. That's so. And you said that was in March.
Yes, so the first house that Dwell with Dignity will be, or apartment will be in March. It will culminate with the Design Bloggers Conference, which is March 2nd. There'll be a big wrap party at ADAC. And then they're going to continue doing more houses in Atlanta going forward. They have a big charity event that they would like to do as well, which helps fund these apartments that they decorate year after year. So Brian Patrick Flynn and Carrie Howard are going to be the designers for the very first Dwell with Dignity apartment here in Atlanta.
That's exciting. It reminds me a little bit of room service. Are you
It
familiar?
is, yes.
Okay.
In fact, Dacre Robinson is going to be involved in this project as well.
Awesome. And so if you are listening, room service, definitely check them out also. They're a nonprofit that basically supplies similarly rooms and design for people who are, I don't even know if, are they underprivileged or what you would call them?
Yes, I think same idea. Just, you know, trying to get to a better place in their lives.
Yeah, and I think we're having them on the show soon, aren't we?
An Eric Award.
American Award, I believe,
She's
is
next week.
yes,
Okay.
next week.
Next segue.
Yes. So, anyways, so stay tuned for that next week. But Katie, it's been such a pleasure to have you.
Thank you. I've enjoyed this so much.
It's been so wonderful, and we've learned all about ADAC. So if you're listening, check out adacatlanta.com. If you're from here, definitely make a trip down there. It's worth it. Go to one of the events. And if you're not in Atlanta and you're in the Southeast, it's worth the drive as well. This is At Home with Paisley. We've had Krisztina Bell and Katie Belveal here today, and we will be back next week.